Right, everyone. So I don't know what is up with this, but that was third time lucky. So something could be relevant with third time lucky because I kept trying to put the title in and it kept chucking me off and saying bad something. So bad file or something. I don't know what it said. So I wasn't liking what I was doing. So I'm just now I always clear the energy and smudge and do my own prayer before I come on, but just whenever it's a Scorpio moon, like I'd said, and it is a heavier energy. So calling on the guides, angels, ancestors, loved ones of spirit, power animals, light beings. The Arcturians especially are very strong. Came up on the shorts like 2 times in a row or something. So welcome. If you're here all the time, you'll probably have saw me going on about this, that we're going to be doing this. If you're brand new, I'll just go into a wee bit of an intro. My name's Claire, not Crystal, and everything I do is channeling, clearing, and healing energy, meaning that I use a lot of cards, but I don't really need them. I could just sit here and channel it all. And actually, during this challenge, it might be more of that, but I mean, probably not. I just like using the cards to back up what's coming through. Because again, that is more for you guys than me. Well, it is for me too. I find it fun. I love cards, but everything I'm doing is always huge, big energy clearing and holding space. So the big thing about this week is um, whatever you're picking for yourself personally, I am holding the intention for the whole group. So the whole group isn't just going to be whoever interacts in the chat because we all know that is a very small amount compared to what end up watching it. Well, I don't know about very small amount. I'll not get ahead of myself. And especially it doesn't help when I don't tag the videos. I didn't tag day one or anything. But again, it is just because when I do this, I really do just feel whoever is meant to do it will do it. And in fact, I've just remembered there was someone in my personal life that I felt actually would really. You know what, I wonder if I should just do it now. Sorry, I'm just being really rude for a minute. I think I wrote it out on my phone, so I could just copy and paste it. Wait a minute, it won't make sense. Right, wait, we'll do that in a minute. But I did just think, oh, that's a bit of a shame. So, because it was like my guides were at me, reminding me, I was like, right, okay, I'll text her at some point, and then they were like, and then they reminded me, no, it's because this could be helpful. So I'll do that. I mean, she can catch replay, but just in case about. So, um, yeah. So day one is always basically about setting your intention for the whole week. Like how do you want to feel by the end of this? So it's historically a free 5 day challenge. So we end it on the Friday. We're celebrating your progress. Um, However small or big, I might add, because this is really about baby steps. It's great if you're in a place in your life to take a bigger step. And there usually are a couple of people that are, but that's not really the goal. Because as I've explained in the video for today, or tomorrow, um, today is actually really not about taking much action at all, other than set your intention for how you want to feel by the end of this and what you want to gain from it, and release and let go and expect, miracles. Be open to them, because if you're not open to miracles, they're not going to happen. That's how you manifest the miracles. But yeah, today is really about identifying your block and your block or blocks, and your limit and belief, because that is basically everything that I help people with. Again, just for the sake of the new people, my moon in Sagittarius conjuncts my South Node and my Uranus. So and it also conjuncts something called the Antares portal. So basically, that combination together is, I'm very much like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like here to kind of clear the negative energies, negative attachments, collectively and personally. And that's why you'll see, if you hang around or if you're here all the time, it's a lot of the things that I help people with are setting badass boundaries and you know, clearing codependency, wherever it is in your life, not just your love life, your family, your friends, work, you know, just setting healthy boundaries wherever you need to have it, because we need it in all areas of life. And you know, wherever there might be heavier things going on, like narcissistic abuse around someone, or, you know, post-traumatic stress from trauma, like it's trauma release that I help people with as well. So it's all inner child healing. It's all weaved together, inner child healing, and everything I do is always soul retrieval. The combination of different parts of healing that I do, I just weave it all together. And yeah, you can read more about what I do, and I'll talk about it as the week goes on. But I'm an advanced hypnotherapist as well, and a life coach, and a transformational coach, actually, I believe is what we say, and a Reiki master, shamanic teacher. I've also got a background working with children, so that's where the interest for the inner child comes in as well. But I can do work with actual children too. You know, that doesn't tend to be all the time. It's only really just if a client's child expresses interest, or a client recognises where I could help someone. For obvious reasons, with it being a bit difficult when it's over Zoom and stuff. So, and yeah, I think that's it. I've probably left out a little bit. Oh yeah, and I channel the astrology, weave the astrology into absolutely everything I do. Very much mine astrology, prophetic astrology. So it just kind of comes in, and then I'll basically have a fair idea what's going on with astrology, but a lot of the time, definitely the shorts, I've done that because I filmed them up until January. I'll just feel the energy and I'll describe it. And then when I'm watching them back when I'm uploading, because that's what I was doing last night, I'm like, hang on a minute. I was exactly describing the energy of that transit, but I didn't know that that's what was happening right then. So I've never bored of it. We're going on 11 years next year, and I always find it quite entertaining, and other people tend to as well. So that's basically the gist of it. But yeah, really, what the whole week's about is um, like, you know, one of the Soul Brothers put it perfectly when he said something like, you know, I'll put in the comments after, but I think I've put in the comments in some of the videos that it's you know, it doesn't really matter what you pick, it's just it will move you forward. And it's just what is really important, in my opinion, is like, if you're going to do this, do every day. So, you know, watch the pre-recorded videos that go out, you know, 144 my time, UK time, so whatever that is for you, and just take the action. You know what I mean? So today, like I said, it's not really, it is action in a way, because, like, you know, setting your intention, think about how you want to feel at the end of it, and think about what is, like, where do you feel there is a block in your life, and particularly, like what I'd said on the video, it was based on a bit of paper. Oh, there it is down there. It was based on, like, I'd channeled that like years ago, and I can't remember if we'd done one of the challenges based on that or not. I don't think we did, but it's always generally quite the same. Like, you know, identify what is your block to speaking your truth, was if anyone's needing something more specific. But it doesn't need to be that, but it just feels fitting, because when this is like they told me it was going to have a mixture of inner child healing, um, and inner child healing, you know, that might seem like, oh God, it's going to be really heavy. And it probably is going to be. Like, I wouldn't say, but I'd say definitely, for if you're taking this seriously for tonight and tomorrow, you know, you could be facing quite a lot of heavy stuff. But within reason, you know, when it's in public, you know, it's better to unpack that really personal stuff one to one with me if you feel guided, or, you know, in therapy in general. But yeah, it fits because, like, when it gets in the midweek and later on in the week, it's about you, like, you know, unleashing your creativity, you know, your like the gifts you might have suppressed, you know, especially any psychic gifts from being a child or that, because a lot of people do that. You shut it off. It's just, I never done that. So that's why I'm good at helping reawaken, you know, and it's really lovely because I'm really grateful that a couple of the people I've noticed lately have been one. I'm not saying anyone's names, but one person in particular was just saying how grateful she was. It was something about, like, I feel like being here has unblocked me. So that, honestly, that was a huge honor to hear that, because, you know, it's not that that person wasn't psychic before. It's that something's happened through trauma or bad experiences, what life, to make that person shut that down. So that, honestly, that makes me really happy to know that, you know, something's coming back, you know, you're starting to trust your intuition, or you feel your gifts awakening, or it might be more exciting if it's for the very for the very first time. But you know what I mean, for the first time that your gifts are waking and your third eye's opening. So yeah, so like I said, could be a little bit interesting tonight because if nobody's joining live, I'd imagine people will start to filter in at some point. But my cutoff for moving into the membership is 9, and it might actually be earlier if it's really, really quiet. So I'm just going to set an alarm for that right now, actually. Right, so I'll set it for, and I'll just do some collective energy, you know, if nobody's here chatting, because I know that people will be doing it and, you know, quietly, and you don't need to talk. I always feel people's energy anyway if you're not, you know, chatting and all that. And like I said, it's just it is interesting. Scorpio moon, it's always the same. It's always tumbleweeds, and it's not a very chatty energy. And if it is, it'll be like a really intense heart to heart with like me and one person or me and a couple of people. But it really just, you know, it just depends. Um, but so yeah, so that's really just a wee pointer. Like if you need something, you know, to kind of home in on, what is a block to you speaking your truth? Like, can you identify something like from your past at any point, whether it be childhood or something, you know, something that's happened at school or home or like it doesn't even need to be childhood. It could have been in your early teens or your adult life. It could have been ages ago, it could have been recently, but you know, just sit quiet for a moment and just, you know, tune in. Like even now, actually, I mean, I'll probably do this again when people come on, but even just now, if you're watching this live or in the replay, just take a moment and just close your eyes. And I'm not going to lie, while you're closing your eyes, taking a moment to do that, I can text the person that I forgot to text. But it's just in case that person wants to catch it live. But yeah, so just take the next few moments just while I do that, just to tune in and just see if your guides give you anything or your loved ones in spirit, like a memory. And again, just be kind to yourself because you know you might instantly now, you know, this is really interesting because I'm like, is this anything about mums? Like, you know that song, Take Your Mama Up, da, 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 Scissor Sister. So it's like, well, first of all, Scissor Sisters, so there's something about sisters, and it's called Take Your Mama. But the song before that was Stacey's mum. And I'm like, is this like a playlist about mums? But it's not. It's called Blimey Wasn't It Bigger? So I've no idea why the last two songs were about mums, but so well, I have actually. It's Mediumship Monday. So clearly that's just even if that's just a handful of people, there's definitely mother healing energy coming in there. So equally, if there's something coming in about your dad, then or your father, because I it's just I always say this, but it's always really interesting to me that when I'm channeling, I'm like mother, father, and it's not like I say that any other time in life. Do you know what I mean? But it does just come in like that, and I feel it's because it's written on all the cards like that. And I don't know, maybe it's just the way it comes in. But you know, whatever kind of you know anything like that that might be coming up. And it could just be, you know, like you absolutely anything. I'm not going to home in on that, but you know, and it doesn't need to be anything about your mum or your dad either. It could be things about siblings because that band's got the word sister in it or brother, or it could be things about other extended family members like grandparents or aunties or uncles or cousins and on and on and on. It could be you feel you don't gel with your friendship group anymore, or you're not gelling with the people at the office because I'm always watching The Office. That's why they gave me that one. Or yeah, you get the gist. But it doesn't need to be anything even about like family and friends and stuff like that. This could be like you feel blocked in some area of life. So we're just leaving it really broad, right? And if I forget to show this, when I was just porting about earlier, because I honestly like time is so crazy right now. I can't believe how quickly this day went. But I did get up a bit earlier because I just can't get to sleep at night. The energy is just crazy, and it's going to be like that all week because I'm doing whenever I do this, there's a lot of excitement, energy building, and yeah. Um, and because the other thing is as well is this is always about a huge big collective timeline jump, quantum leap, you know, quantum jump to our highest timeline. And I do that like, you know, in a couple of days I will do some type of activation which people always love that bit, but we've got to stay in the present just now. Um, oh yeah, and the other thing is I've been saying all this leading up to it, but like I said, at 9 o'clock, or maybe sooner, depending on how quiet it is, I'm going to switch from. In fact, I'm just going to say it that now. I'm going to switch from public. I don't know whether I want to do it right now because I don't think I can change it. Start in. Oh, you can't start it any longer than 15 minutes. Okay, this is complicated now. I need to do the maths. So that means then let's get the alarm to go off. Then, yeah, right. So when that alarm goes off, I'll set that alarm if I remember, and it'll give a 15-minute warning. Oh, how fun! Um, Yeah, and so basically, like, I don't know in what order, but tonight when I go into membership, whether there's people watching live or not, I feel it'll be a wee mixture, like some EFT tapping, or it's really just a wee bit more of a private space to connect and talk about, yeah, just talk about stuff that's a wee bit more private. Again, always keeping in mind that um at some point, hopefully, there will be more people in the membership, but everybody's got common sense, but I always have to point these things out because it can feel people always usually feel very safe. Well, not all, not usually they do. People always say they feel very safe and to open up and here. But like I always have to stress, remember we are in public. But I'm always, holding space for that. You'll see sometimes I'll probably be a wee bit more strict actually this week in general than what I usually am because I'm holding the space. I'm always protective, but I had mentioned in the post if people do choose to share some of their private shit, basically like really deep stuff, I just think it's wise all round not to comment like too much on what people say. Oh, hello, Becca. I've done it again, Becca. Becca. Hello. I did think it was going to be you because oh yay! I was your number one channel on your YouTube recap. That brings joy to my heart. What an honor that is when there is so many amazing YouTubers. So thank you very much. But yeah, I did think it was going to be you when I said it might just be me and one person having a heart to heart because you're Scorpio. It'll connect. Um, so yeah, but this codependency card, when I was porting about earlier, addictions are affecting your romantic life. That is what I picked up. So in case we need a thumbnail, but it came out in reverse, so that's the good news. Like I feel a lot of people are untangling themselves from that codependency, wherever it is in your life. Now they're basically based at like romantic codependent connections, but like I said, it doesn't need to be that. It can be wherever in your life. Because it's like I've explained this before, right? But I always find it quite funny. I have, this is the original deck, so like I never see anyone with that. Like seriously, like I see people with a knockoff version of that because it went out of print. I think you can get it, but probably quite a lot of money. Well, it would definitely be quite a lot of money. But when I got that, like, I, I don't know, 15 years ago or longer, whenever I think it would be about that or longer, I didn't really take too long to think about what that meant, codependency. I really, honestly, I'm being serious, like, I don't think I had a fucking clue what that meant. Although it tells you at the bottom, addictions are affecting your love life, your romantic life. I didn't really get it. And I don't know, I didn't really, whenever I was using those cards in sessions and stuff, um, yeah, I would just read it and I would take it, I would more home in on the addictions bit. But I mean, that's really what it is, it's like when you're in a hot and cold situation where you're a bit addicted to, being treated badly, really, and it can, be linked back to either well, yeah, things from your past. So it can be past lives or things in your past, So it's and it's very subconscious a lot of the time. It's not like, oh yeah, great, I've just been treated like crap by this person. So hang on a minute, I need another one to take their place because they're awake. Actually, now I'll pick you. Whether it's love, friends, being treated at work like that, you know what I'm saying? It's like you don't consciously make that decision. Oh yeah, I love it. Give me more. You know what I mean? It's a pattern. So that's really what we're going to be highlighting this week. It's particularly today and tomorrow. Is Like, can you recognize where you've made connections with people either in the past or still presently that aren't the healthiest? Like, like a big one as well is like, you know, I feel a very challenging one for a lot of people is friendships. If you've had friendships, like say since you were really, really young or anything, and you can be like, oh, we've been friends since nursery, or we grew up together, or our mums and dads are friends, or and that's the one I always find the most interesting to observe, like as in people watching and just, letting it unfold. Because um like I would have been like that at one point in my life, like even like really precious about childhood friends and stuff, like, primary school friends and that. And then it's quite funny because I'm only thinking about that when I really home in on it now. Um, it was kind of like when I got into like, I'm just trying to think, maybe it was like my late 20s, early 30s. I did start to release quite a few friends. I didn't have that many that from primary, and then but then I did start to drift because it's like we've literally nothing in common, and I feel it. Yeah, there was just what I mean. I didn't feel like I could be myself, and I felt like I did feel it didn't feel good. We'll just leave it at that. And then and then you try to kind of reconnect again. It's like this we're forcing this. Do you know what I mean? And then I would have later, if you keep trying to reconnect with the same people, you'll have like tower moments. Like I'm thinking of it's not that because this is so long ago now. I'm thinking of something. It wasn't like a massive tower moment, but it was just there's someone coming to mind where it was like when I look back, like that person really wasn't valuing me as a friend, like in the way that I was them. So it's kind of, and again, unfortunately, I then did repeat that pattern with quite a lot of people. But that's what I mean. It's like, but when you start to kind of realize your own value and you love yourself more, you will distance yourself from people. Um, so what's what's GH? Welcome, Paul. I'm just trying to work out what this is and if it's. Forgive me, guys. I've got to take a moment. I'm like, I'm. Hello, Crystal. We lost Annie Honigiri. He played Luke Spencer on GH. What's GH? Right, so I think that's it. It was just in case I forgot to show that codependency card. I think because I feel that is the main collective message. Um, so, and also, Paul, my name's Claire, just for reference. It's okay, I'll forgive you, but and also, if you are indeed a genuine person and not somebody coming on talking gobbledygook, I'm not saying you are yet, but we were getting a poll coming through for a while the other week there. This is quite an interesting synchronicity. Um, right, so worst part of ADHD is going from one addiction to another. Mine are really subtle too. Yeah, I hear you, sister. But because I help people with this all the time, it's like I can't lie to myself as well as I once could, because I'm just so honest and because I'm always so freaking honest on here, but it's helpful, you know what I mean? But no, I hear what you're saying. It's the key that I really like to, what I like to do is find something like that's a healthy addiction or at least helpful, you know what I mean? To pour all my energy into it. And I'm sure you've worked that out too. But I've definitely had my times of like binge eating or um like I mean, well actually the biggest thing, people hear me say this all the time. General Hospital. Well, are you being serious, Paul? Are you pulling my leg? Is your name even Paul? Um General Hospital. So is that American? Is this big? Is this like a real big deal? I don't. But sorry for your loss if it's genuine. Um, but um, but yeah, I've never made a secret about it. That my right, okay, okay, I'll be with you then. My addiction is YouTube, and I don't mean making the YouTube videos. Like sometimes like I really can't be arsed doing that, to be honest. But no, it's watching it. It's like I've had YouTube since it came out, and I've watched like I've given this speech before, but it's relevant because it's kind of like if that's what's coming up about addictions in the collective, then I'll just channel on that for a wee bit while I'm talking to people. Um, like um Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like it can start out harmless and then it can rule your whole life. And I still do, like I'm not gonna lie, I still do get a kick out of like going to my YouTube timeline and stuff. It's just I'm telling the truth when I genuinely say like I would have consumed a lot more than what I do now. I tend to get like only so far into a video or I'll save it on a playlist and I just click and I don't ever end up going back to it. And it's, again, a lot of that will be down to the fact that I've got this channel and it takes so long to like film in advance and just put the stuff up and it's by the time it gets to the end of the night I really just want to switch off and well most of the time watch The Office because I'm addicted to that. And I noticed last night I'm like, oh my god, I'm only like I think I've got 7 more episodes or something, and I keep seeing the spoilers of like other people that get together and that. I'm like, stop showing me. Yeah, I thought it's in America, isn't it? A series in America. Um, so Paul, how have you found us? Were you already following or did you just find me randomly on your timeline? Um, but yeah, so like what I done when I was like, right, hang on a minute, like this is just unhealthy, is I would have like I would detox, you know what I mean? So I would start off when it's like, right, I can't check my YouTube for like a couple hours at least. So I'd set a timer and then I wouldn't do it for like a couple hours. And then I extended it to like a day and then I extended it to like a weekend. And now what I tend to do is when the moon is transit my 12th house, I don't go in it at all. I didn't actually do that this time round because it's just came out of that. But and the reason for that being is because the 12th house is your deepest fears and your deepest desires. I always found, particularly with the twin flame journey, um, it would be like my worst possible case scenario nightmare sort of titles that I would see. It was crazy, like without fail, whenever the moon was in my 12th house, and God forbid if it's when the sun and the moon were there, it'd be like, ah. So it's kind of like, and it's already like a ride from heaven and hell with a lot of fucking mystery that nobody needs that. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just sharing that for anyone else that might, like to I don't know. They might need a bit of help with that. And like I said, if you do find that that it's kind of a bit unhealthy for you as well, I'm really good at helping people. Well, really any addiction, like anything from your milder ones to your more heavy ones, like sex addiction and gambling and rock and roll, whatever else, like really anything you can think of. Alcohol, like I say all the time, because it's deliverance, that modern deliverance that I'm doing. It's very common that somebody can like sort of tell me about a drink problem in a session and miraculously like they're getting back to me like a few weeks, like 3 weeks into it and months down the line they're like, yeah, I still haven't touched it. And what I always say is like that is amazing, but um you would need to be sensible about that, you know what I mean? And really, if someone was really serious about getting that support, it would be wise to sort of do long-term work with me, because if that is just after one session, then you can imagine I would be able to really support somebody. And again, yes, I'm a shamanic therapist as well, but and a hypnotherapist. It's really the combination of all of it, being the shaman and the hypnotherapist mixed up with the light codes and everything. It's very fast, frequency healing. It's very fast, kind of like blows your mind how quickly. I mean, there's actually on the playlist, me and Lexi had a chat. There's many chats that me and Lexi have had, and I am planning on. I'm going to talk to like at least a couple of people this week, and because it always aligns, I always do it last minute. So if I reach out to you and ask you if you want to do that, nobody needs to feel the pressure to do it. But they were giving me a few people that might be interesting to talk to. like there was one in particular when me and Lexi were doing one of my package of 4 sessions. She just happened to mention, like 10 minutes before the end, that um she was struggling with, I think it was an e-cigarette at the point, but we were doing something about healing her skin. And basically, long and short of it was both things cleared up. And I don't think Lexi would mind me sharing that, but if I could find it again on my phone, that'd be great. It was like she done like a before and after. So you see that her skin was like, it was like breaking out, and then like very quickly over a short space of time, her skin healed up. And as far as I know, it's still great. So, and she did come off of that, and then I think that was a few years ago now. So I think since then she might have went back to I don't know, the e-cigarette or something, but she might come on and say, "Believe and succeed." I just looked down that. So, but yeah, all these where it's relevant, all these wee bits and bobs are going to come into it. So I just want to read the rest of these comments. So again, they're getting me to touch on that because that's quite a light example, being addicted to YouTube. But it could be any social media. Like for me personally, I'm not bothered about it because I have got a hold on that rather than that got a hold on me. And like I said, really what's balanced it out is the fact that I have to run my own YouTube channel. But I made the conscious decision to not have like TikTok and all of that because funnily enough, I did see years before that blew up that it was going to be huge. So it is kind of crazy. I've had a lot of people say that to me. You know what I mean? It's like I really could have been a much like bigger channel by now, and been a TikTok star. But I didn't fancy it. Like I went on it before it got really, really busy. And I was saying to my friends at the time, that's going to be huge. Like people are going to be obsessed with that. I was like, but I'm getting the fuck off of this. I didn't like the frequency makes me feel ill. Like like talk about frequency. Like I'm not kidding. Like I think, the first time I went on it, like I'd done like what a lot of people would do, and I was like, oh, getting lost in the fucking sauce of it. And I was on it for like, I'm not kidding, it was like about 6 hours straight or something. I'd be drinking or eating, and I was like, this is the devil. And I'm not kidding, that's how I felt about it. I was like, I can see how it'd be used for good. Because I did, I remember, it was so long ago now, but like I remember watching someone that was like it was one of these dancing couples, and it was like they were sharing something about, I don't know if it was something really sad. I don't know if it was something like a baby they'd lost or something. I think it was. I think they were talking about a baby that they'd lost in the past, and then they had another kid by this point, and the girl was crying and stuff, and it was really emotional. And I thought, I bet you I've literally just been led to watch this because of who I am and like to hold space and anyway, it was weird. But I even ended up finding myself crying at this. And I thought, it's nice, and I know, and like I said, I've got people I love. Like there's some of the people that tune in, like you'll have your own and all that, but it's just it's a personal choice. It was just like I'm too sensitive. I don't like the energy. It's too many people. It's too. I just didn't like the energy. I didn't like the frequency. So what I always just say to people about that is, you've got to tune in with you. And I really do feel anybody that is on things like that, you're probably there to, I would say, to definitely to transmute the energy. So if that's where you've been called to be, then you be there. But like I said, this is where I've been called to be. And like I said, I pulled myself right off of Facebook and Instagram and all of that. And it is only here, and Twitter too. Twitter's very addictive. I came off of that years ago too, because that, when in 2020, when we were going through all that crap, like that can be really addictive, because like if anything kind of breaks out before they cover it up, it always came up when the trending things. So I got quite addicted, because I'm such a detective. Like I got quite addicted to that, because there was quite a lot of stuff that I screenshot before they hid it all. But it got unhealthy. So, I'm just sort of sharing that. You've got to know your own self. And, so for anyone that's got really heavy Scorpio or Pluto, or perhaps Pluto in Scorpio, so that'll be a lot of people similar ages to me, and some of you that are like 10 years younger and stuff, roughly. That can be bad for that. You know what I mean? So that's how I, like I said, I know myself well. Like when I am into something, I'm really into it. Do you know what I mean? Like again, we can't shy away from the fact that this channel is all about love, self-love and love. Oh, it's Michael Bublé Lost comes on. I love Michael Bublé, but I have no idea what that is. Lost. Wait a minute, I need to, what is that? It looks very young, but Lost. Do you know that one? Yeah, you probably are. Yeah, I think you are, because you're about that age. Or is that a cover? Oh no, is that Hold On to Me Now? Oh no, I think that is just called. You can't hear that, eh? Can I just check? Can you hear that? I do know that song. I've not got that on my thing. Anyway, but just want to see you saying if you. But that's not a coincidence because that will come into this too. I am. Well, that's actually a lovely song, isn't it? You will if you listen to it, because that's what I thought. Because you are not alone. Well, it's really quite sad. It's got an old man in it and that, and it's got a woman crying in the bathroom. Oh God, this is giving Scorpio moon. It's just got a lot of people that are feeling very alone and lost because it's called Lost. Oh, he's hot. Sorry. I was distracted by a good-looking man. So anyway, I'm sorry. I won't apologize for that because I happen to think the other half of Vassal is always attracted by a good-looking woman. So touche. Except I don't do anything about it. And, that's personal choice. But right. So anyway, that is a nice song. I'm gonna put that on my. I'm gonna put that on my thing now before I forget. It's reminding me of I keep singing that other one though. Hold on to me tight. Cause you are not alone. And we'll get lost together. I think it's like that. When you feel like oh my God, what the hell's that? Ask people to. That just flashed up and said, ask people to jam with you or something. Is that new? Never seen that before. It's quite funny. I've kind of thought, should like, is that a thing? Should I do that at some point? I mean, God, there'd be. Imagine how many songs there'd be on it if I made up like a fucking playlist for here. That just seems a bit ridiculous. I was going to just make a playlist with music videos, like, just as a playlist on here. Like, you know what I mean? At some point, I was meant to do that. I never got around to doing it. But anyway, so but I was starting to talk about love there, and it is relevant. You know what I mean? Like that. Honestly, I get obsessed with that. It fascinates me because I love synastry and everything. And synastry in astrology is basically how you see how two people's planets match up together, particularly in love. But you can do it with anyone. You can just see like how you and your mum and how you and your mum gel, how you and your dad gel, how you and your siblings, how you and anyone. Right? I'll just get through the rest of these comments actually. Um, so yeah, I'll just talk about that in a minute. Yeah, I have to knock off version of that deck. Couldn't find the OG. Yeah, most people do. It's a nice wee size though, the fake ones. But you mean it's got a kind of weird glare on it, hasn't it? Just saw 444 on my timer. Love it. That's my fave. And I saw that in a reg plate when I was getting my fill-in. I put that in the post. Oh my God, the replacement thing. I had to drop a few friends recently. What was I saying about replacement thing? Oh right, oh yeah, right. When you attract the same person but in a different people. So many fake friends. Yeah. The thing is, that's something that I have come to observe through working with so many different people with ADHD and autism and ADHD and stuff like that. Is it's really quite sad. Like part of sort of like your genuine nature and taking things quite literally and um just like I would call it very Neptunian, very kind of Pisces kindness. A lot of the time people just don't think other people would be out to get you like that, unless you've got loads of Scorpio too and we're a bit wiser. But I definitely know where I've been like that in my life, where I just keep seeing the light in someone and I'm completely like in denial about the dark. But when I say dark, it's the shadow. Everyone's got a shadow. It's important that you witness the shadow and you heal those parts of you and you integrate it, and then you can be a badass without being horrible about it, to be blunt. But the more you know about yourself, the less likely you are to hurt other people. But I'd say, that's difficult because it's like what I'm saying about, if people were leaving standing comments, like other people's channels, but not like, but like, there's a little bit of Scorpio sass, but like, no, like seriously, if people, when this ends, if people leave comments that are really heavy, you know, it's probably just wise to like leave a heart or like, I think you can only like their comment or, put a wee emoji or something just to, acknowledge that you've seen what they've said, if you even want to, because I think it's kind of dodgy to like comment on people's really heavy shit when you don't know, if you don't know each other very well and stuff. Like, you could potentially trigger. But I mean, in this world, we can trigger people all the time. But I think just, for the sake of this week, that feels the best thing to do. But yeah, it's easy to think you should stay friends with someone because you've known them for, yeah. So many people do that out of loyalty. So many people do that. Again, I did do it for a long time. A lot of people too. But I'm just, like you said, by the time I got to a certain point in my life, I just can't do that. I can't do it. It's exhausting. Like, and it's, that is a lot to do with people that get late diagnosed with things like ADHD and everything. You're just so exhausted with like masking how much you're struggling by that point. You just can't. And I mean, I'm very honest anyway, but like it's quite funny. Like even when I thought I was being really honest, I was still stomaching a lot of shit I shouldn't have been really. But again, it's not just everyone. Well, everyone I think can resonate with that at some point. Definitely, like I said, if you do have similar. So at the moment, it's science videos. Holy moly, mine's are like hair stuff. Like I was just saying to my mum. I was about to say my mum was helping me build something. That's not the truth. She was building it herself, and I was tightening the screws. But it's something that I might, if that works, if that's okay, I might not need to use the step ladder anymore. But I really got it from my room because I always put like, this is another thing, I always put like loads of books that I never read. That I'm like, I'm going to read that. I really should read that, and I don't read it because I'm like Edgar Casey. I just soak up and channel information. I literally don't need to read the book, but I still like to have them around me. It's so weird. Don't ask me. I've done it for years, like literally my whole life. I'm like a little Matilda. Um, but I thought if I have that, it's got a bottom bit and a top bit, and it's like if I'm ever doing work in my bed, which I don't like to do a lot, but I can do. I could have my laptop on the top or like a cup of tea or something, and like I can put the books on the bottom, so it's not messy. But anyway, I was saying to my mum when she was doing that just before she left, it was like, God, it's like a military operation here doing my hair. Do you know what I mean? Because I've got obsessed with like this short hairdo. I'm like, right, so I got to section this and I got to do that and I got to blow dry it till it's 70%, and then I got to use that hair thing, and it's like, got to use this mousse. And I'm like, my Christmas money that my mum wanted to get, it's all went on my fucking head. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because it's the stuff that, you know what I mean? The mousse and the this and the that. And I'm like, how come other times when I wasn't using all of this, my hair looked pretty good anyway? Do you know what I'm saying? That's what I've got obsessed with right now. But that's fine. It'll die off soon. But when the hair gets longer, I'll just go back to the sleep rollers and it'll be less expensive, but quite funny. Um, my dad is 74, not far behind that guy's age. That's scary to think. Yeah, let's not even go there, Rebecca, because I mean, did you see how much I broke down when unfortunately one of my best friends' dads died? Like, yeah, I was hyperventilating. So, although my dad wouldn't take too kindly to me saying that he's not far behind, but yeah. Um, pretty sure, pretty sure Pluto and Scorpio. Yeah, listen to it on Spotify. I don't know it. Oh wait, I do know this. Yeah, you do. Yeah, I thought that too. They are lovely, aren't they? And we'll get lost together. Na, 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 na. And that is clearly, I mean, a bit cheesy, but that does feel like divine masculines, male and female, that feel lost right now in their dark night of soul and an awakening. And it's like, and then feminine flashed up on the TV because it was talking about a perfume, you know what I mean? And it's like the twin flame reaching out. Um, is the way that I would take that. Especially because I just mentioned love and then I saw that. I love music, so I'd love that. Oh, the playlist thing. Yeah, I don't know how to look into that. Me and my dad have been clashing recently, but it's a birthday to what, his birthday. Happy birthday to your dad if it's his birthday. Um, yeah, me and my dad are very close, but when we clash, it's pretty ugly. It's like it's with me, and my dad clash. It's like I don't see him for ages. You know, it's better that way. But nah, I try not to do that. You know, it's as you get older and as your mum and dad are getting older and that, I don't do it because uh it's it's too upsetting. You know what I mean? So usually we can sort that shit out. But I hear you. Hello, Ryan Crystar. Is it Rayan? Rayan or Rayan or Ryan? I'm just like, could you spell it phonetically? I think that's the way you say it. Right, so let's get into a little bit of the so did did anyone watch the video that I released today? The the prompt video. And it's okay. If you didn't, it's fine. You can watch it after. Because generally I said that the gist was set an intention for how you want to feel by the end of this week and what you want, to basically sort out in your life. And within reason, guys, you know what I mean? We can work miracles around here, but don't pick about a million things, which I know can be hard for people with ADHD, especially, but pick pick one thing. Heartbreak, maybe, because Heartbreak just came on, a song called Heartbreak. Right, okay. Well, if you didn't, what Ray Ann? Ah, so I was kind of getting there. I thought it was that. Thank you for that. And where are you from, Ray Ann? Um, so um, yeah, definitely watch that video after this because they all tie on together and you'll get more out of it. But yeah, basically, if you could sort of think about that just now, like if you're going to take part in watching the videos like Monday through to Friday, because again, there's none that are too long. Like, I'm just trying to think. I think they were all generally about 15 minutes. Maybe one might have been about 20 minutes or something. USA, nice. We've got a lot of people from there. Um, and think about something that's really bothering you. So can you think of something right now that might be stopping you or blocking you from speaking your truth, like a limiting belief or something, a memory that happened in childhood or something? And I'll just shuffle these while I'm asking that. Wait a minute, was there anything? I don't think I want to do the usual putting all the stuff in. What will I put there though? Oh, wait a minute. While you're doing that, I'm going to send this. Uh, uh, yeah, I'll actually just send her that. I wrote it out. It was when I couldn't sleep this morning. I wrote it out, and it's a bit wordy. Right, I've done my bit there. It was just because it popped in my mind. Right, so why have I got them on my lap? Let's put them here. Uh, yeah, I'm not going to bother doing a goal tonight. I don't think. And what would be wise? I think just put my email. Sorry, give me a minute, guys, and I will. Because what to think about. Oh no, wait a minute. Will I get a text if it's on flight mode? Can't think. Right, that. So, um, Right. Right. So it doesn't all fit. Right. So I've put the Kofi link, and or you can just use the YouTube button as usual, and then I can pull a few cards. That's just if anyone wants anything. And then I've got the normal booking link, and then I've got my email. So because it's slightly different this time round, um but tomorrow, so from tomorrow through to Friday, I'm actually mysterious girls. Mysterious girl, I wanna get close to you. Yeah, see what I mean? Because we've had Lost, Michael Bublé, and now we've got Mysterious Girl. It's like that's totally, we don't need the cards, we'll just do it all through the music channel. So it's like, the people feeling lost are being magnetically pulled to the mysterious girl or the mysterious man. It could all, it could all be, the genders could all be whatever. But um uh yes, so I think I'd decided from 3 o'clock UK time to about five roughly, uh tomorrow through to Friday, I'll be available for now they're not free, but they're for a donation. So provided you're doing the challenge and you want a bit of help with what I'm talking about tonight, then you can jump on that and it will be 15 minutes. Like, we'll have to stick to it because it's strictly for this. So if you were just wanting a wee bit of support, and obviously when it comes to like Wednesday, really it's more like Thursday though, when I start talking about the offers, because spoiler alert, I'm going to pour out all this energy this week, and then and hopefully there's more people that come midweek. It's like I said, Scorpio moon is always like this. I'd imagine by Wednesday people will come, but you see the problem is, see by the time I'm going to do the activation and the meditation, the mixture of everything, if people haven't done like day one and day two, it won't work the same for you. So really take that on board tonight if you want to get the best out of that meditation that I'm going to do on Wednesday night. Then you have to do the other 2 days for it, because people have had massive shifts when they actually take this seriously. Whereas the guides and all that are watching. If you don't take it seriously, you'll not have anything that to write home about. Whereas if you do, you will, because the people that done it last time did have big stuff happen. And it was all random different things, just things they wanted to happen, which is why that review that one of you wrote was good. Was safe inside, James Arthur just interrupted us. So again, that is about alcoholism, because I believe he's singing about his sister who had a drink problem, and he's worried about where is she? I won't sleep until you're safe inside. So, but that song for me is always just about anyone generally that's got a drink problem that you could worry about. Are they going to get home safe tonight? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's God, that's pretty heavy, but that is very Scorpio moon. So, um, but um, yes. So if you want to book that, then like if you want to talk to me for that short period of time, like I said, at any point between 3 and 5 tomorrow up to Friday, then email me at clair-everything, that email address, and then I'll send you that link, and you can donate anything from like a tenner. I think it's like a tenner, 25 or 45. You can choose what on the sliding scale what suits you. And the reason why it's a donation is because, well, you take it more seriously when there's some kind of money put down, but also it's like what I've said before, when I was guided to research that ages ago after doing years of free work, it's not good to do that. You're literally giving people permission to hex you, curse you, everything, if you don't take some sort of exchange of money. So you know what I mean. So it's a little bit different every day. I don't really count as much if I'm pulling a free card here and there on here, but yeah, but that kind of stuff, you got to value yourself too. But anyway, that's people don't usually take me up on that, but that is there. And like I said, once I announce the offers, obviously it's a good opportunity to ask me about it's like what a lot of people call a discovery call. I used to do them right at the start. But it didn't serve me to do discovery calls because actually I heal people just by doing what I'm doing right now. So it's like you get, you know what I mean? So you will get, that's the thing when we talk for that short period of time, you will feel better after we talk. You get the healing, but you see, I have to protect my energy because people start to take the piss with that. They'd book the discovery call and then they wouldn't book the actual session. So, but yeah, and I think that's it. So let's go on with this. So I'm like I said, I'm just going to do a bit of collective stuff in that. So we've got about 45. No, we've got about an hour. We've got about an hour left of whatever we're going to do. So in about 45 minutes, 43 minutes actually, I will set the timer to say that I'm going to go to the membership. Unless if I decide I want to go a bit earlier, I will, but I can't see that happening. So, right, let's get an affirmation then, another one for the collective. Like I said, just you sit and think about what just you sit and think about what you've done. But no, just sit and think about what do you feel is blocking you right now, and can you connect the dots with what that might be linked to? And that's where I'm basically saying, if you can't connect what your block might be linked to, I can help you either on here if you're open to do that, or if you want it more privately, that's where you could do that on that. And like I said, that's a huge opportunity because that's getting it a hell of a lot cheaper than what I usually do it. And it's 1-to-1. But I do like to do that on these. Oh, look, Thunderbirds are go. That's like fucking let's go. Right. So I'm loved and accepted exactly as I am, right here and right now. That's beautiful, especially because of that song coming on about being lost. And this is like what I say a lot of the time, you know, um, uh, and some way or another, a lot of us can feel like we need to be perfect. Definitely when it comes to like, oh, I need to be perfect before I'm in this connection, or, you know, I need to be perfect before I'm my best version in general. And it's more men than I see. I see more men like that than I do women, whether it's the twin flame journey or not. It's, you know, it's really fascinating to me. But the amount of men I've spoke to that are like that, it's like, and a lot of the time it seems to me like it's unattainable. Like, you know, like the kind of level, it doesn't really matter how successful somebody is. Like somebody could have lots of money or be really successful, and it's like they keep moving the goalposts. Like I said, all different ages of men. It's just something I've known. I have known women like that too, but that's really coming through there. But I feel this is about, you know, you're loved and accepted exactly as you are right now. You know, whether you're happy or sad, depressed or doing great, you know, loaded or skin, it's like you're worthy of love right now. I see the world through eyes of love and acceptance. All is well in my world. So that's that. And then we've also got today, no person, place, or thing can irritate or annoy me. I choose to be at peace. I am neither too little nor too much, and I do not have to prove myself to anyone. Oh, yeah, I remember I pulled that for myself. Hair flip. Right, so um, let's use some of these. So these tend to be romantic ones, so that's all right. Where's other ones? So what's something that some people might have a bit of a block with out there? Because the one I had to remind myself, the one that I pulled for the prompt video was, and I just stuck it to one card to not make it like, you know, too overwhelming. Um, it was one that said something about abandonment issues. So it was kind of like, you know, I can't remember the exact wording, but it was like rather than abandoning each other, like try to stay with it. So I thought that was pretty powerful. So in general, this could be your abandonment wounds lead you to self-sabotage. So again, trigger alert, guys. This could get pretty deep. So you don't need to chat back and forward as this is too deep. But again, with me, oh yeah, that's what I started going into that chat, and then I didn't finish it. All I was going to say about Pluto and Scorpio is, you know, it's wise to know where that is in your chart, and if you can go one step geekier, and either if you know astrology yourself, or you can go to an astrologer, like it's quite wise to see how your Plutos or your any, you know, match up, because there could be an extreme power imbalance when you've got like your Pluto's matching up like that. Because Pluto is about control really, and it can be destructive as well. So it's, you know, it's not that you can't work with it, it's just that it would be wise to know generally where is it sort of saying one person has more of a hold over the other. Because if we're talking about love and true love around here, the right person would want to be like, all right, shit, well, I don't want it to feel like that for you being on the receiving end. So let's see how we can basically, you know, make this feel better for the both of us and safer, so that you don't always feel like I'm holding more of the power, because that's a power imbalance is never going to work really. Um, so, um, and I attract so many what I would call Plutonian twins, because that is what, well, that's what I am as well. Um, so, right, what have we got here? The truth is more oh god, these ones are so annoying. The truth is more complicated than you think. So what is that on the time? So on the time, it's either I think that's 2:45, or it's 9:15. I think it's maybe 2:45. So 2:45 in the morning or at night could be significant here. Or the morning or at night? In the afternoon or in the morning? Or 9:15 in the morning or at night? The truth is more complicated than you think. So yeah, that feels like it's homing in on like whether this is you or your person, like it's just getting you to think about like why might somebody run away from you, other than let's get real here, you know, like there's another card that's called unrequited love. Like that has to be said. Like, you know, that's what I mean about it. You know, it is a difficult one, you know, with people can get caught up in a little bit of Delulu land and get a bit too, you know, that's why I always say, like, look, I show up and I help people, but it's like I don't know what everybody's situations are, and definitely not if we've not worked together either at all or very much. So, you know, always keep your common sense and that around. But provided you're sure it's not that it's just completely unrequited, if you've got a kind of sense like, I'm sure this person does like me, but like, what the fuck is going on? Then there's every chance it is going to be something like that, that it's like you're triggering something in them that is uncomfortable about, you know, either God, I love this person so much that it's like kind of like if I lost them, the song Lost, like what the fuck would I do? Like I think I would actually have a proper breakdown. Like I'm not willing to even go there in some cases. Um or um yeah, people can have a bad, like, I mean, I'm thinking, you know, keeping this anonymous, but I'm thinking with people I've worked with over the years that like if you've been adopted or something as well, that can bring up a lot of issues. Doesn't need to be adopted. I mean, I've worked with loads of people where it's not like you could have just been abandoned in childhood, full stop, and but you had a mum and dad, but maybe they were working all the time, or you know what I mean. There's loads of different examples. So you just again, the truth is more complicated. You think you never know why, and the thing is, like I always like to stress, if you're resonating with this and you're on the twin flame journey specifically, because some people might be choosing to do this, you know, in real time or later on, and you're not on the twin flame journey. But specifically, if you're on the twin flame journey, whatever it is, like abandonment issues that one person has, you actually will have had them at some point too, if you've not actually still got that. So, you know, be careful again with the power imbalance there, not to kind of make it all about the other person. Now, it can be that, you know, it might appear that like somebody's got it worse than the other or whatever, but really that's just about healing at different paces, really. You know what I mean? Like it's complicated. Like I said, it's complicated and it's hard to kind of go into it to do it justice on this. But yeah, my parents worked all the time. 9 out of 10 times unrequited love for me. Well, hopefully hopefully you're going to attract the one that is. I mean, actually, that was you that I said that to, wasn't it? The other week there. wait for the one that adores you, that sees you as a star on top of the tree. I remember your mum coming through and saying that. Be happy. My eyes are being pulled to now as well. Yeah, basically don't accept crumbs, you know what I mean? It seems too obvious to mention it, doesn't it? But that's why self-love, as boring as it might seem, like it really, it is the best investment you can ever make in yourself, because it goes back to what we are saying about the friendship thing there and family and that too. If you Once you have like tighter boundaries and you're pouring all that love into yourself and you're able to say no where you perhaps weren't able to say no very easily or at all, um, you'll stop putting up with crap from friends that aren't treating you right, or jobs that aren't, serving you, and you could go and get something that you're happier in. And, just generally stop putting up with things that are less fulfilling. And then, you're more likely to attract in somebody that is going to treat you the way you deserve, because you're treating yourself the way you deserve. I mean, seems pretty self-explanatory, doesn't it? But that is really how it works. Like I remember, God, years ago on Instagram making up, and it was something about, you know, you've got to see self-love as like, making the cake. You've got to like get the cake all ready, make it, and like, the your divine lover or your twin flame should be like the decorations, like the cherry on top of the cake, like so it's everything's already pretty much done, and then that just comes along, that person then like really adds the theatre of the storm, something that is right, isn't it, what I just said? It's you've got to be whole on your own, because that's really what a lot of the problems are in most connections. Not I'm generalizing, but you know what I'm saying. It's kind of like, is either that like codependency and too much controlling energy, like where people are insecure and then feeling like they have to watch your every move and not trusting each other and checking each other's phones and all that toxic shit, um, or um, like feeling like you can't have your own stuff going on and you have to like merge into the other person. And I'm not talking about like that guy's complicated, because actually if you have got heavy Scorpio or Pluto energy, like actually you're like, oh, that sounds pretty good, like you do want that soul merge and you just want to like melt into the person, in that way. But like, what I mean, you it would be a very close soul bond if you were twin flames and you had that very Scorpio energy. But again, I happen to believe, like, from what I've witnessed on my own journey, but also like with thousands of other twin flames at this point over the 11 years I've been doing this next year, it's like you have to be mature enough to handle that. You know what I mean? Because that's pretty heavy. If you're like, you feel that spiritually connected and bonded to somebody, it's understandable that both people will be like, need a bit of time to work. Like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to circle back round to this one, but I'm not really ready for this. And I feel if you're really honest with yourself, even as a divine feminine, you would have had that feeling too. But definitely that's what the masculines go through. And my God, this is very deep, but we're going with it. Uh, but yeah, the point of that is, when you're codependent with like a partner, it's it's like you can't do anything without them. And it's kind of like, it's nice to be close with, oh, hello, Brandy, welcome. How are you doing? It's nice to be close with your lover, but like if it's based on insecurity and like kind of not trusting each other, or kind of like, needing to be stuck to each other's hip, that, that's not great. Goes without saying, doesn't it? So, but it's kind of hard because I feel a lot of twin flames that if you've been apart for like years on end, like especially people that it's been like over 10 years and 15 years and 20 years and all that, it's like you would want to spend all your time together. Do you know what I mean? And it reminds me when I referred to that film where the crawdads sing, which again, it's oh, I channeled about that ages ago, and it was a Scorpio moon. But the gist of it is, it's a thriller, and I won't spoil it because it really is a great film. It's a thriller, but it's not scary. It's a bit creepy at some points. Because remember, I'm a total shite bag when it comes. I don't like horrors and I don't like things that creep me out. But I watched it during the day, And then I watched it again during the day because it was on the movie channel. That'd be weird if it comes on again. Actually, I haven't seen it on again because I've never heard it. But it's the girl. It's Anne Marie out of Normal People. So Normal People might be signet. Oh God, I don't watch channel like that either. But all of this is relevant. Whenever I talk about that, then it reminds me of that film. That anyway, we'll deal with this one first. And I might find that video where I went on about this because it was good, that one. And then I don't need to go in that in depth. But yeah, the long and short of it is that film starts off when it's like the dad is so abusive, he drives away the whole family. Like he drives away the mum first, and then he drives away all the siblings, which I think there's like 5 of them, and she's the only one left. And she stays and like and then eventually he leaves. So talk about abandonment issues. So like she lives alone on this little marshland kind of, and I don't know what time that era that's meant to be set in, but it would have been illegal, because it's like she was still a kid, and she was like fending for herself in this house. So it's like they must have owned the house or something. But anyway, it was like the shopkeeper knew, what I mean, there's something not right. But I think she was making out like, oh, it's for me and my dad, and so anyway, this girl was like very fragile and sensitive, and then she strikes up this little romance with when she strikes up the romance when she's little with this wee boy, and then she meets him again when she's older, and they fall in love, and then it's like there's quite a nice bit because it's like they're gonna do it, but he's like, no, not like this, because he knows like how vulnerable she is. But then, like I said in that video, it's a shame because spoiler alert, it's like then that guy goes away. Well, this is quite clever actually. That guy goes away because he gets scared about how real the feelings are. And then in the time that he's away, this other guy comes in, and well, he does have his way with her. I mean, it's like he doesn't do it not in that way, but it's like it's not nice because it's like she's vulnerable, and well, it turns out he's no a nice guy because he's already got a girlfriend. So it's complicated, but it's and then it's all about when the other guy comes back. I kind of am telling you the whole film, so spoiler alert if you don't want to watch it. But it's like when the other guy comes back, she's like kind of like pushing him away and like, you just left me, and go away, and but it's obvious because this other guy turns out to be a fucking nutter. Do you know what I mean? Like I've said this before. He's really hot. It's like the bad one that's like really hot. They're both hot guys, but like I don't know who that actor is, but it was kind of like anyway, moving on. But really not nice. So like, it's probably actually that's quite a good poster child for don't go for the really bad guys, because it's like, wow, I hope you're not that into bad guys that you'd overlook the fucking massive red flags here, because it's like narcissist, because it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's like he's got her away on her own, vulnerable, and it's like he's with someone else, and like it's like and it's just horrible. Um, and then but he's like claiming he loves her and all that. It's really fucked up. Like it's fucked up. It's quite sick actually now I'm thinking about it. And it's just a shame because you're like, she's just looking for love in all the wrong places basically. So yeah, when the nice guy comes back and he's like, look, I'm sorry, I got scared and I'm sorry I left you, but of course he doesn't know all the shit that's went on. So but what's quite nice is like he keeps an eye on her. Like, so it's like it sounds a bit creepy, isn't it? But it's like he keeps an eye on her because he knows that this other horrible guy is stalking her, and he's like keeping an eye from afar, even though she said to stay away. And then I'm sure there's a bit where he actually comes in and saves her. Anyway, there's loads more to it than that. It gets really heavy, but generally, it all goes back to the abandonment issues, and there's a lot to take. It's a really, really good film. And then and then spoiler alert, actually there's a bit like where they that's where they always lead me to, actually, because it was when I said like if you'd spent a long time apart you can understand why you would want to be actually glued to each other's hip. By the time you've done all the healing, you wouldn't want to spend a lot of time apart within reason, because that's what that film's like. Like when they get back together, because the whole point was he was like, I didn't want to like come into your world because you're away from everyone. Like, and then when he's like, hang on a minute, actually, what am I hanging around for? Like, I would rather be with you. like these people aren't even like my family, they're not even valuing me. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, and then it's nice, like they like live away on their own in this, and you see them like growing old and dying and in their old age together, and it's kind of sweet. It's a little bit like the Notebook, that bit actually, but the rest of it is kind of dark and it's quite interesting. It's um I guessed what happened, and it's quite hard. It's one of them. It's a little bit like it's like the Sixth Sense a bit, where you might not see the way it's going to go, but I did. Right. Okay. Let's see what is going on here, and then I'm going to talk about normal people because that must be relevant as well. So this is not a very cheery one, but that's okay. So, I want to say, but I'll cry again, and I'm done crying. I'm an Aquarius, and I get grumpy with tears. Oh, Brandy, I'm sorry to hear it was that bad. Oh, and you're a Scorpio moon, aren't you? I often find that when it is our own moon sign, regardless of the moon, because I know Scorpio moon can be challenging anyway. Um, I always tend to have a weird one. You know what I mean? So pray for me when we get into Wednesday, because it's not just the Sag moon; it's the new moon in Sagittarius, the last one of the year. So, those of you that might be a Sag moon as well, yes, and that's lovely. That's what I'm talking about. That's holding space. Beautiful. Bex is saying we're here regardless. Yes, you don't need to. You don't need to tell us what's happened, Brandy, but you can. And I was just sharing with people that any of you that want to anything that might come up like that triggers, and I don't mean trigger in a bad way, because triggering doesn't always need to be a bad thing. It can be helpful. It triggers. Oh yeah, that's made me think about this. And like anything that if people want help this week with specifically what we're doing on the challenge, then you can just email and we can find some time throughout this week. Right, okay, let's shuffle another one then. But yeah, so because that reminded me of Normal People, because that's the actress in that. In Normal People, again, equally just completely heartbreaking. I say it all the time, but if ever I need to have a huge big purge and just cry my eyes out, that would be a good place to start. But it is very triggering. Just so many. I mean, I don't even know where to start with what's triggering in that. First triggering thing is it's so completely twin flamey, so that can be triggering alone. So be careful where you're at before you watch that. But the other triggering things are like I'd say maybe bullying stuff or like anxiety, if you've had anything like that, or what would be that, or yeah, anything if there's any kind of dark sexual things or sexual trauma of any kind really that anybody's had, I would be mindful maybe not to. There's probably other things I'm not thinking of. There's not anything really to do with drink in that film as such. It's more the dark path that some people can go down due to being badly treated in childhood. That kind of nails it. And actually, though, this is really deep. The more deeper, profound realization that I've had. Well, actually, I knew when I watched it the first time, but it's it's kind of six and a half a dozen. Like if they were real people, like what are the issues that those two people have? Um, and I mean, he off the bat, if you've ever seen that, like like I would say that is like chronic crippling anxiety that he has, because I mean he's like a really good looking guy, and he's like in within crowd and all that, but like we see behind the scenes, it's like sweating and panicking and God, the most horrendous type of, I don't think anxiety even cuts it for whatever it is. But, it could be that he's meant to have like undiagnosed ADHD and autism or like, I don't know, other things, you know what I mean? But he's got a lot. It's stressful to even watch it. And then, but her, like 100%, like I think her character is meant to have autism because she basically doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. She's quite different right from the start and super duper intelligent and like, but it's like yeah, it is definitely autism she's meant to have actually because she takes things quite literally, like with what I said in some of the bits, and it's just. But really, regardless of all of that, because they don't, that you're just meant to come to your own conclusions with that. I feel, but it's more the fact that it's the miscommunication and the misunderstanding that goes on throughout the whole thing. And there's only something like I don't know if it's 13 episodes or 15 episodes or something, But I binge watched the first time I ever watched it. It was somebody said, "Oh God, you have to watch that. You'll love that." And I did, and I watched it all. Like I started watching it at like 9 at night or something. I was watching it till like 5 in the morning. I had to watch the whole thing. Um, and then whenever I've watched it the other times, like I watched it once on my own a few years ago, and yeah, cried my fucking eyes out again. And I thought, oh, I don't fancy that again. And then I watched it with one of my best friends. We binge watched the whole thing, and that was again, it's not the serious of things, but me and her both like stuff like that. And but yeah, it's just it is heartbreaking. It's frustrating to watch it. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's the bit that always gets me is there's like he's needing somewhere to stay because he's I don't know he's getting kicked out of the place he's letting or something, and it's like she's got this big house to herself because like I think her family are meant to be like really rich and that, but like leave her alone and she's got a really abusive brother and there's all that kind of like going there's all that kind of storyline. Um, but it's like he's too shy to ask her. And then it's like instead of asking her if he can move in, they end up breaking up. And it's like you're like, what the fuck? Because like he doesn't want it. He wants to live with her, but he's like too afraid to say. And then it's like so she's like heartbroken, confused, and like, what the hell? And then it's like you don't find out till like I think it's meant to be like a year and a half later. I don't know how much later it's meant to be, a year and a half later or something. And she's like, I thought you were breaking up with me. And he's like, no, like I needed somewhere to live and I didn't know how to stay. And you're just like, oh my God, because you've just watched her get with this absolute fucking abusive, horrible little bastard, honestly. Oh, horrible. Um, and then another that makes a skin crawl. She gets to another guy that's like, I don't know what the fuck his deal's meant to be, but that scares me a bit. He's a photographer and I don't that makes me feel sick. Like they use really extreme examples to get across the kind of shit you can get in. And it's because she's so disassociated. She's just so she's not even there. She's floating. So this can go for a woman or a man. She's so outside her body. It's like it's only me. I don't even care. You know what I mean? And it's a little bit like 50 Shades of Grey too, actually. In some way, you know what I mean? Because you know he's doing what he's doing because of how he was treated by the mum's slaggy pal, basically. I think that nails it, doesn't it? It's like, but it's not quite the same because he's the one that's like the dominant kind of, isn't it? It's like she more goes into like being the one that's being punished. So it's quite disturbing. So there's a little bit, if you've never watched that series, there's a little bit of a heads up. If you have ever had any kind of, you know, things like that, maybe wouldn't be wise to watch it because it could be quite upsetting. I normally fast forward or mute those bits. I really don't like watching that stuff. I mean, who does? But I mean, it's just some people you really it stays with you. You know what I mean? You're like, I can't watch this. But yeah, it's even sad for him too because it's not like anything really dramatic happens with him. But he gets invited, like he goes out with this girl for a few years, and he's like not even there. Do you know what I mean? He's there, but he's not really there. And like it's like he's always thinking about her. They're just always thinking about each other. It's twin flames. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, that's my breakdown of normal people. Um, but what's normal to the spider is chaos to the fly, as I always like to say. That's from the Addams Family. Um, always have a good day during Scorpio moon. I feel so backwards. But you're Sag moon, aren't you? Hmm, that's quite interesting. Maybe it's because you're Venus. Maybe it's I don't know. It's conjunction your Venus at some point. I don't know. Scorpio moon always good for me, but just not this one then, Brandy. Um, so felt like it was literally on fire in a good way this morning. I was on fire, pushed back all my demons. Was like half awake, half dreaming. It was bizarre. Oh my god, that sounds pretty heavy. Um, right. Oh, so it's your new moon as well then. It's our new moon, right? What have we got here? If you're questioning it, oh wait, I can't. Why can I not say questioning? If you're questioning it, you already know the answer, and it's got a very cryptic picture of someone with their finger on a letter. So because this is like a collective message, I'm not wanting really to go into so much to what I do all the time, but it does go into that a little bit. I more feel that this is like the what's written in this letter are the hidden feelings that either you're hiding or your person's hiding. It's like if you're even questioning that there's more to this, there is, but it's like locked. Well, it's hidden in that letter. But this could also be as well that there is some sort of communication, a text or a call or a letter or a meeting coming up where, because it looks like that person's about to push the letter towards the other person. Some things aren't about you not being good enough. They're just not right for you. Wow, that's really deep, because that's like what I was just saying about that Marianne. She gets involved, the guys she gets involved with when they go in like different directions are just so like toxic, like it's insane, like it's the most toxic example, like it's just horrible. But you can see it's because she's just not there. She's just totally like not really there, and she doesn't care. Um, and it's because, unfortunately, this is why it's a good example, because this is just a program. But unfortunately, a lot of people could relate to it. It's like it's because she was treated like that by her family. It's like they're just pushing her out of the way. You know what I mean? Like the mum is just very detached and cold, and I think the dad's meant to be really abusive, and then he's fucked off somewhere. We don't really know much about him, but because of that being that way, the brother is like really scary abusive. Like he throws his weight around in that and kind of push it, and it's kind of and it's difficult because it's like the mum's trying to make it oh, it's only your brother kind of thing, but like when you're like a teenager going into an adult and your brother is pushing you about like that is it's abusive. um and it's clearly because that's what he's seen modeled by the dad. But yeah, some things aren't about you not being good enough, they're just not right for you. So I feel that is definitely for anybody where you've found yourself unfortunately in an abusive relationship. It's not your fault, you know what I mean? It's not about you not being good enough, it's just they weren't right for you. Pretty heavy, isn't it? And then this is a sad one. This, oh my god, that's so, I love it. That's so, like, it is intense, but I love when they get me to channel about that, because that is so right. Look at this. We were supposed to be us, not just you and me. That card is normal, people. Because even the way it all sort of wraps up towards the end, I'm just trying to think. I always say that, but then I think it does have a bit of a. It's like a happy ending, but kind of like a not, if you know what I mean. It's like it's sad, but it's sad that all that shit has to happen. But it's happy because they do end up together, don't they? But then I'm sure there's like a. I'm sure the I'm sure the very ending of it. Anyway, that's kind of spoiling it a bit. But there's this sense of it wasn't meant to be this way. Oh my god, I need to wrap this up now. This is depressing. What time is it? Oh yeah, thank God, the alarm's gonna go off soon. So it's I think that's enough of those cards. What other cards? There was I'm not gonna lie, there was loads of other ones I wanted to use for this, but the day just ran away. I never got around to getting them all. I'm sure I've got some round here. Um these are the ones. I don't know if I used them later on in the week. I didn't use them in today's because I only used one card. Let's use some of these, because this is, if we're going to go there, I think it would be good to go there tonight, because people that are watching this on replay or those of you that are live that are getting involved, let's see if this pulls out anybody's stuff. These can be pretty hard hitting, so giving you a wee warning. What's something that someone might be struggling with out there? Whether it's someone in the chat or someone watching on the replay, like more recent to when I'm doing it, or whether it's off in the future. What's something that might be, oh, and if you could maybe not chuck them on the floor, because I can't be arsed. Oh my god, I should have said that. That's insane. Wow. Creeped out right now, but that's just because it's they pick the cards. Body shame. You feel unattractive to others. Work on accepting yourself, flaws and all. That's so crazy. By the way, if you only knew, that's so crazy. Because that is like a lot of the downloads I was getting today was very in line with this. Because that card comes up, I think it's on Wednesday. It might even be tomorrow's one actually. It must I've watched tomorrow's one. It's either Wednesday or Thursday that comes up. I think it might be Thursday actually. It doesn't really matter. But that card came up, and then it triggered me to remember when I've helped people with things like this, with like body dysmorphia, or just basically generally, like, you know, people that don't realize whether you're a man or a woman, like how good looking you are, because you've like been stuck with like horrible bastards, whether they're a woman or a man. Do you know what I mean? That make you feel unattractive. Either where the hell did that? I'm sure there was another one. Now I might find that later on. I don't know where it flew to, but maybe it didn't. But yeah, that's kind of nuts because look how many there is. There's like loads of cards, and that is the one that came out. So I definitely do feel there's going to be a lot of you out there that are like, say, whether you're a woman or a man, that are dealing with like either body dysmorphia or like a serious kind of disjointed, not it's not what everybody else is seeing. And again, it doesn't, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but and that's why it can be quite complex because there's some people that are considered like typically good looking, but I just don't even think that exists. And then there's other people that it's kind of like um it's I think one of the more complex ones is if you are if you do get a lot of people that are kind of like, oh well, you're really beautiful or you're really hot or something, or you know what I mean, but you don't see it yourself. Like and okay, that always kind of makes me cringe, like kind of how to channel and that kind of thing, because it's like because then you can get away with other people that it's like know they're good looking, but like they're fishing for you to say they're good look. So it's kind of like, you know what I mean? It's quite complex, isn't it? But I'm talking about whether you can recognize yourself in any or all of these things or your person. I think one of the more interesting ones is when somebody is clearly really hot. Like there's no disputing, you know, you'd get if you it's like, oh yeah, they're really hot, yeah, they're really whether they're female or male, but it's like deep down that person doesn't feel it. And that's where, you know, it's there would be a bit of a disconnect, like, you know, what's going on there. And sadly, you know, that would be spending too much time around the wrong type of people, you know what I mean? That are either insecure themselves, therefore not wanting to let you know what you're working with, you know, to like, you know, which sadly lots of people can do that. Um or hello Deb, how are you doing? You're looking fab. Thank you. That's quite funny with what I'm talking about. Hello from cold Canada. Well, welcome from cold Canada. Um, but yeah, you know, so really it's like if for anybody that feels like that, you know, like I say this all the time, but the answer isn't going to change. My throat track is going to be funny there too. That would be when you need therapy. And I know it's all easier said than done, you know, therapy costs money and stuff, but seriously, I would, you know, if you're resonating with that, it's worth the investment because you, you know, you get more in touch with the truth. Like it's yeah, you know what I mean? You'll find yourself more, you'll have better boundaries, you'll love yourself, and you won't feel like that about yourself, and it'll be more in alignment with what everybody else is seeing. But like I said, it's hard to break that one down because everybody's attracted to different things. But I mean that, you know, I think I have seen loads of people like that where it's like, are, are they blind? Do you know what I mean? But it's like, and you can tell when somebody's putting it on or when somebody's genuine. Like honestly, I can't tell you how many women, especially, I've come across in my work, but even in my personal life, when it's like, shit, they genuinely don't realize how beautiful they are. Like, do you know what I mean? So like, it's so weird because although I clearly like men. It's like I have never been shy about when I see a pretty woman, like, you know, with it. I don't just go up to somebody and be like, hey, you're really hot. Not lesbian, by the way. But it's like, you know, I don't know that weird about it. But like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Like, even when I was really shy as well, like if it was not going to be really weird, like I don't think it's God, it's the Holy Spirit just flying out, like speaking through me. You know what I mean? Like and actually, the more confident you get within your own skin, I had even less qualms about it. You know what I mean? When you feel comfortable in your own skin anyway, then you don't really care how hot somebody is. It's like, oh yeah, you're really pretty. You know what I mean? It's kind of like on the twin flame journey as well, because that's a bit of an elephant in the room. You know what I mean? When the twin flame goes off and chases kind of karmic people that, karmic people get usually pretty hot, not all the time, but it's because they're a distraction. So, ugly distractions aren't going to be, much of a distraction. There usually are going to be hot men and women. But it's kind of like, when you are confident within yourself, that really shouldn't shake you. It's not going to feel very nice, but you're like, well, who cares? Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's what they want to go after, let them bash on. I'll just, be where I'm at and, know that I'm worthy and value myself and love myself. And it's, whatever they choose to do isn't a reflection on how I feel about myself. But you have to, that is so hilarious. The song Opposites Attract just came on when I said that. We go together like opposites attract. 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. Paula Abdul. But yeah, twin flames, you know what I mean? So, but what I'm saying is, that takes work on yourself, you know what I mean? Um, but in saying that, it's quite funny because I don't want to go too deep in that, but like, see, even like when things went weird in my mind, like I hadn't done therapy or anything then, but I did have that attitude. I was like, well, he's clearly just, no feeling me anymore, but except I knew that wasn't the real truth. But anyway, I was like, I'll just have to, focus on me, have fun, getting pissed with my pals, and see who else is out there, even though I know I want him. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like I did think, well, I don't feel any less about myself just because, but it's like in a way, but then deep down, it's it would get to you. You'd be lying if you said it didn't. But I'd say, considering I hadn't had therapy or anything, I'd say I handled that better than most. Or actually, I was able to make it look like I had. Yeah, I think that's what they're saying. That's maybe a bit more honest. I love this. It's like I end up doing the shadow work myself. Fucking like it's. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people were like, "No, I wouldn't do that," but I'm like, "No, I quite like that because it's like I detached from the pain of it enough to be kind of objective and just be like, well, there's literally nothing I can do about this. So I'm going to have to like it or lump it. And to be able to survive these really awkward situations whenever I sort of bump into him or whatever. And and it worked. Like I said, it worked a lot of the time because I was pissed or just being in a different place. Or occasionally they'd send me a hot guy out of somewhere, and and it would only be for fleetingly because it's like, oh yeah, they're like, you can't get close to anyone else. You're not allowed to. You've got an important purpose. I'm like, all right, okay, fine. Um, but um, but then you know what I mean. Then that would have caught up with me, and then when I actually done the therapy, yeah, that's where that helped me. So again, it's and that's what I help with people with now, and that's why I always say if you're on the twin flame journey and you feel that therapy would benefit you, I'm a good person to consider because, well, I've got a lot of experience on the twin flame journey and I've had therapy myself and I am a fit, you know what I mean? All these things together. Anyway, didn't mean to go into all of that, but it's because that's more like what I'll be talking about later on in the week, but it's because it's relevant. So think about where that might be relevant and then let's see if what else comes up. Oh God, and now it's I just looked right at the thing. So we've got 15 minutes left just to warn you, and then I'm going to be going into the members. So, wait a minute, I need to concentrate because it's not all levels. It is. Oh, this is a bit confusing actually. I don't know if I can do that. I wonder if I can do that. I wonder if I can go into all levels and then change it to. Oh, I'm just going to do that just now. That's annoying. Or will I do that tomorrow? That confusing. I'm going to go in there tomorrow because there's hardly anyone about because it's just right. Right. So I'm going in the second level of the membership in 15 minutes. And if you're in the first level of the membership and you're watching this, I will pop in there for a wee hello before. I'll work it out. I might actually, maybe I'll leave that for Friday because on Friday I wasn't going to go in. But, oh, I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll put a post up. Um, right. Okay. So let's get another one. What's another one? But like I said, that must be a huge theme this week because that came out before. Justified and Ancient just came on. So there's stuff about past lives affecting you. Some people. Not compatible. You don't really believe there's a match for you. Have an open mind. Now, again, that feels like that's homing in on. This goes back to whatever I was saying about at the start. If you keep attracting like the same type of person based on your wounds, wounds that you haven't healed, basically, which would could highlight as a wound, but subconscious kind of fears and wounds that you keep attracting painful friendships and love things because it's something that you haven't faced yet, and then eventually it would lead you to face it. You could just be like, oh, there's not anyone for me because I keep getting into the wrong thing, where in truth what it would really be is you've not taken the time to look at what that wound is that keeps creating the pattern of attracting the wrong person. So that's why it's very clever they gave me the example of normal people. Right. I want to end it on a kind of, well, I can't end it on a lighter note because it is what it is. This is just to get people's minds kind of thinking a little bit about what, but the best thing that, because I don't want it to be like there's a bit of pressure with the time sticking there. The most thing I can stress is if you want to get the most out of this week is, like I said, just identify somewhere where you're blocked, and if you can link it to like something from the past or a past life counts as well. Even if it's just a kind of feeling they've got, like, oh, I wonder if something has happened, then that's fine. You know what I mean? You can make a mental note, or if you're a journaler, you can write it down, or just write it on the back of an envelope or whatever, a scrap bit of paper if you're in like me. And that can count as taking action. Even just take the time to think about it, because a lot of people just won't even take the time to think about this. You just switch up, be like, this is too deep, this is too heavy, or whatever, and it's like, it's just good to be able to sit with this stuff. And then, like I said, tomorrow we will do some work around like some more deep work, because it's still Scorpio moon. And remember, Black Moon Lilith is the very last of Scorpio too, and not for much longer. So it's a really, like I said, it's a really good time to face your shadow, face the stuff that you've ran away from for a long time. So it'll be more deep stuff tomorrow. And then Wednesday, the energy will change with the Sag moon. Mars is in Capricorn too. I didn't realize it had already went in. So Mars has literally just went into Capricorn. So Mars is action with all this fuck it, let's go. And Capricorn's very serious. So note the kind of we've just went from Mars and Sagittarius, which is like, fire, like very joyful, optimistic, and Capricorn's like serious shit. And it does feel like, very serious shit. Divine feminine, divine masculine shall be together in 2026. Absolutely, Deb. And so it is. I feel that too. We can always live in hope. But no, I do feel that too. But it would be unrealistic that it would be all twin flames. But some. Say la vie's on. Say you will, say you won't, say you'll do what I do. Say la vie. That was quite good timing. Right, what else we got? One more from here. So yeah, just do anything tonight. If you want to do that, just do anything. And I said that, but it came out in reverse. Insecurities. Holy shit! You see how that's so crazy that fits with the thing. Every time they make me talk about a film it's just like so on point. So insecurities, work on building your confidence and feeling safe in your relationship. So that is exactly what they made me say about, unfortunately, well, this links back to what we're saying about the Pluto stuff. Again, those of you with heavy Pluto placements, wise to know all of that. That's more for when you're in the relationship, though, if you keep coming up against weird power dynamics. And I knew they were saying that to me because I watched How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days on Saturday, which is one of my favourite anyway. But it was funny, I nearly put up a post because remember, I'd actually channeled about that film on the last live stream, and then it happened to be on the movie channel. So I just watched it, and it was weird because I was falling in and out of sleep, which doesn't make any sense because I've had tons of sleep. So you'd think I would have been wide awake. But that is just, I love that because I loved it when I was younger. And then what's quite funny is that film actually came out the year I met mine. So it's like that's how old I am and we're but it's kind of like so I'm just thinking it would have been like on like it wouldn't be DVD, would it? It'd be like VHS or something. But I would have been watching it over and over again at home when I've got it, on the tape or whatever. And it's but it's quite funny because that their dynamic does remind me of the way I can interact with mine in the past, like just kind of uh yeah, just a bit competitive at times. You know what I mean? It's like it's but like I said, I don't want to get into that because I've not been like that for a long time, but I do think I used to get pulled into it when I was younger because I didn't really know what the fuck he was playing at. So then I'd be like, right, well, if you're going to try and annoy me, I'll try and fucking annoy you. And it didn't work. I only done that once. I done it once, and he'll know what I mean but I done it once a night out, and I thought I'm not doing that again. You can just be the one that wants to do that to me. But it was like I'm not going into the rest of the story, but it was I'm not going into, and I don't know if I'm going to any of it actually. It's not that bad. Yeah, it wasn't good timing. That's what it was. It was like, bear in mind, we were never a couple or anything, right? So it was all really awkward, and it was always just kind of like we liked each other, but we hadn't really spoke about it. And then it was like you weren't. I felt from my side, it's like I wasn't allowed to like him. You know what I mean? It's like you're not allowed to like the person that you're just casually sort of sleeping. And then, but it was kind of like it was kind of weird timing because it was like something awkward had happened where he needed to say sorry to me, and he did actually say sorry to me, like, and I was like really shocked and really proud of him actually. But then it was quite bad timing because then I was talking to this guy from school for ages, and I was literally just talking to him. But it was like when you're young, I think it was because it was like it was more because I was quite shy and awkward, and I don't think we really knew what to do after that. And then it was like, but I could tell he was pissed off because it was like when it was the end of the night, and it was like I was fucking drunk, lost all my pals, and I was like, hey, you know what I mean? And he was like, fucking look like fuck you, and he was away. So it's kind of like I can see the funny side now, but yeah, it really was. It was just one of these nights where when it's like a people will know what I'm talking about if you're local. It was like one of these reunion nights in the clubs we grew up in, and like everyone was like fucking away, like really drunk and losing. I ended up making like best pals with two girls from the year below that I like didn't even fucking know, but I was like best pal. Lost all my friends, and then it was like when I eventually got home. It's this final countdown's about going like two of my best friends at the time came to my door, but I was fucking raging because it was like I'd lost them. So when they came to my house for a house party, I was like, "You can fuck off." Do you know what I mean? Didn't end up in a fight, but I was just like, "No, you're not coming in here. See you later. Bye." It was like a bit of a crazy night, but yeah, it was. Yeah, that was the only time I think I got pulled into being a bit of a dick back, really. But I feel, I think it was just because I was still a bit salty about like what had happened before. Anyway, there's a fun little story from a very long time ago. But yeah, but I think that is quite a good example of like how I can't speak for him, but it's kind of like I think there's a lot of misunderstanding there. Right, but anyway, so work on building your confidence and feeling safe in your relationship. Oh my god, I didn't even click there how see how relevant that is. The problem with me and mine was we weren't in a relationship. We were in a fucking situ. We weren't in a. I don't know if you even I don't know. I don't even know if that was a situationship. We were in a fucking something anyway. Right. So anyway, there's 5 minutes. So I'm going to sing the final countdown in a minute. But I mean, I'd be happy with just a fellow science nerd next year. Well, put it out there, make a wish. We've entered a new dimension for authentic connection. Yeah, absolutely, because that is what twin flames are here to do. We're here to create new paradigms for relationships. So, absolutely. I could do it all on my own, though. What can you do all on your own? Love. You need a little bit of love in your life. Action. There we go. Yeah, that's what today's all about. I might actually use that for the thumbnail. What was the other thumbnail? No, this one and that one. Codependency and action. So that's a big one. If anyone does feel like there's still codependency in your life, and I would challenge you if you say there isn't, I bet there is somewhere, unless you've really done the work. So not you guys that have, you've done the work. It's draining, goes on forever and ever. Then look at that. Where can you set? It doesn't mean you need to cut people out of your life completely, although you might need to. I don't know. Use your own discernment for your own life. I'm not telling you what to do here. This is all entertainment, but helpful entertainment, I hope. But set boundaries. Like people don't need to have that much of a hold on your life if they do. So baby steps are still steps, and they're better than standing still. That's so perfect because that is literally what the whole point of this challenge is. So I'll just see if and so we'll just bring in a little bit of career stuff at the end because it'll come in at some point during the week, but I don't feel that stuff will come in until maybe somebody sparks it in the chat or later in the week when it's a bit of the Sagittarius lighter, brighter energy. The Scorpio moon is just great for getting down to the root of the problem. So sorry if you're watching this right now or on the replay and be like, oh fuck, this is really heavy. But I mean, they pushed me quite raw there too. Like I said, I never regret anything that I do on this because I always set the intention and the boundaries and everything. But it's kind of like that was going quite close. That was very honest what I've just said there because it was like I couldn't lie. It's like when have I ever got pulled into that? And that time just, but like I said, it did bite. It backfired because it's like I thought he was trying to hurt me, and then it's like so clearly that's what I mean. I had not healed from a bit of a, you know what I mean. Do you know what that moment is? Just to be funny, that's when I said the other night, I'll see your Scorpio and I'll rise it. So it's like my Mars and Scorpio was like, you're trying to make a cunt out of me. You know what I mean? And then it backfired because it was like it felt terrible. Um, Anyway, that was when it was leading towards us acting like we didn't even fucking know each other. So that's really lovely, isn't it? Science journey and just life in general. Right, 2 minutes. I'm gonna have to start singing the song in a minute. Right, what have we got from this deck? Might seem a bit random. Books. Look how much I went on about books. You connect to your life purpose through your involvement with books. So maybe this is some of you that are going to write a book or several. I'm going to write several. I've already wrote them in some form. They just need to go out in the physical form. I've created it. I just need to bring it about in the physical. A bit like the unions where we've been manifesting each other if you're in a union with someone and then just needs to manifest physically when the time is right. Oh, school. Some of you might be, oh, you're in school, aren't you? Training. The answer that you're seeking involves going to school. Earth school counts. Environmentalist, you're an earth angel who was born to protect, nurture, and teach about nature and animals. And in my case, the new earth. Teaching. Yes, teaching. Teaching about the new earth. You inspire young people to learn. And of course, the rest of this week is also going to be about inner child healing. But the timer is about to run out. So, yes, they just want to leave you with trust. Trust your feelings and dreams to guide. Oh, sorry to start to guide your career path. So yeah, look out if you're getting sort of insight in your dreams. It could be giving you flashes of insight about the future in your love life or in your career, especially because, like I said, this is an extra galactic week with us heading towards the very potent galactic center energy. It's really exciting, and that'll when it conjuncts my moon, it'll be really kicking in. Anyway, so it's the final countdown. I don't need to sing the whole song, so I think I misjudged how long that was going to take. Does anyone know the rest of the words? That's all I know. It's the final countdown. Right, guys. So thank you for being here. Thank you. And yeah, not a lot of chat, but we chatted a little bit. And I will see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock UK time. Yeah, have a lovely night. Be kind to yourself.